speed of soul, lightshift and darkshift. The cosmos has redshift and blueshift. The soul has something more vast, lightshift and darkshift. You're on a journey to a mountain with the sunlit path leading there. You can barely perceive birds in the distance, circumambulating anti-clockwise around the mountain on the horizon. Your eyes snag a flash of vibrant color from what seems not so far from the forest edge. A glistening fractal marvel, only visible for a split second, is enough to capture your full attention. It's now hidden beyond the lush foliage, so your legs course correct to follow your impulse. You step from the sunlight on the path into the deep forest shade. Stray twigs, bereft of leaves, losers in the race for light in the undergrowth, catch on your clothes as you venture further into the shrubbery. Perhaps this otherworldly object is further in than the forest edge. Maybe I should turn back. No, it can't be much further, you think. You resist the urge to look back at the sunlit path as you fight the guilt of walking into the forest. Your parents always warned you as a child about leaving the sunlit way. But I'm an adult now, you think. I can handle it. You curse your shoes as you slip on the moss-covered stones, masked in the darkness of the decaying forest floor. Your heartbeat jumps at the thought that the noisiness of your trip will attract unwanted attention from the sentient denizens of the forest. There feels like 1,000 ways of traversing this cold, ever-darkening landscape. You catch a faint glimmer of sun cradling the edge of the blades of grass, sparse among the detritus. You shift your gaze towards the canopy, looking for that mysterious dance of color that enticed you here in the first place. It must have moved. You roll your no longer darting eyes, now turning about to the way you came. You may as well get back to whatever you were doing before this. Where was I going? I was on a path. Where to? I can't remember. Perhaps the fog of the forest has permeated your mind. You stumble in your rush towards your best guess of where this path might be. You let out a more anxiety-inducing noise as you fall back first onto a less mossy rock. Tears well up in your eyes. I messed up. I want to go back. Introduction. When the Merciful One speaks of light in the Qur'an, it is singular. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. He brings them out of darkness into light. Darkness, by contrast, is plural. Dhulumat. Layers, multiplicities, shadows upon shadows. There is only one direction toward the One. It is a straight path that He has illuminated with His light. But there are infinite ways to turn away. Pride, envy, despair, distraction, and heedlessness are just a few. There is one path home, endless paths into the dark. Blueshift and redshift. The speed of light in the physical realm is constant, but when light is emitted from a moving entity, we have two words that describe it relative to another object: blueshift and redshift. Imagine a friend swimming toward you in a lake. The ripples they create bunch up at your edge, arriving faster. If they were to swim away, the ripples would stretch out behind. They would be slow and sparse. Light works the same. Light waves traveling towards you compress. Shorter wavelength, higher frequency, vivid blue-violet energy, or blue shift. Likewise, light waves receding from you stretch. Longer wavelength, lower frequency, fading red infrared glow. Redshift. Most galaxies relative to our Earth are in a state of redshift. This is the main evidence used to argue that the universe is expanding. Rare blueshift events also exist, such as our beautiful neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, rushing towards us. Lightshift and darkshift. What does this have to do with the One, the light of the heavens and the earth? You can think of lightshift as the blue shift of the soul. Your heart turning back to the One with intensity. It's your traveling towards the merciful with intention. Each remembrance of the One, or turning back in repentance, pulls you closer to His light. Dark shift is the red shift, velocity away from the One. The same light stretches faint across the myriads of darkness. Be it through sin, heedlessness, or resistance, your heart swims outward, and your light arrives slowly in your distance from Him. This is at least my own reflection, an attempt to use the language of physics to feel the weight of Quranic truth. Where is your heart? Imagine a spiritual heart in a state of prostration to Allah. A heart that is bowed, yielding, aligned with His command. Now imagine divine light descending. That prostrating heart becomes the ideal receptor for that light. It absorbs, reflects, and refracts in a way that is beneficial. It's beneficial to the heart itself and anyone who can see, hear, or feel the outputs of that heart. Now contrast that with an unyielding heart, not in prostration, but standing stiff, not bending to the will of the One, but resisting it. When light falls upon that heart, it does not benefit. Instead, like a solid object in the path of the sun, it casts a shadow. The heart itself remains in darkness, and those near it might find themselves standing inside its shadow. To paraphrase, the Prophet ﷺ described this reality in another language. The one who sins has a black dot placed upon the heart. The one who repels the desire to do evil has a white heart. My reading of this is that every act of resisting evil, turning away from disobedience and turning toward Him, is a small movement toward light. This is lightshift. Lightshift is always easier for the soul than darkshift because it is a return to your natural disposition. And it is always easier because no matter how tangled your soul is in the myriad manifestations of shadow, there is only one light you need to turn to. We want our lives to be defined by lightshift, by repeatedly getting back up and turning to the One after we slip, by counteracting the dark shift created by our own actions, and by taking step after step back toward the One. Because the merciful's light never changes, your motion does. O merciful One, please guide me back. Part of you hopes for a miracle, to be lifted and shown the way. You're about to dry your eyes when you notice something moving between the crown shyness in the canopy. You squint to make out the shape of a bird gliding effortlessly. The lump in your throat slowly fades as you realize an albatross is directly above, flying parallel to your limp body. Your eyes track its path until you feel like you're staring into your brain. In one motion, you twist off your back and push yourself upright in the direction of the bird. Dirt clings to your body, and the intoxicating air of the forest fills your lungs. You take deep breaths, lifting your shirt with one hand to act as a filter of sorts, and using the other hand to dust your clothes. Part of you wants to stay in the forest. I'm sure that object is behind any one of these trees. But you persist in resisting the whispers of the forest. As if the subtle one acts where your efforts begin to fade in strength, a gust of wind shoots through the forest, leaving not a trace of dirt on your clothes and giving you fresh air to breathe. You return your eyes to the sky. You catch a glimpse of the short tail of the bird before it vanishes behind the treetops. You notice the subtle gradient in the twilight sky and think, it's still not dusk. Your feet fall one after another with precision, as the cool wind rushes in your eyes. It's as if the wind is clearing a path for you, pushing the invasive branches to one side. You glance intermittently at the floor and feel as though the blades of grass you once saw before are all uniform in their arrangement, pointing in one direction. You are already grateful to be given the blessing of feeling like you are making progress. But when you abruptly fall out of the shrubbery and manage to land your feet on the mountainward path, you let out a yelp of joy. You have never felt so grateful before. Part of you thought that you'd never make your way out of the forest, and yet here you are, watching the final light of the day descend beyond the mountain. I have a wonderful Lord. You turn to face the mountain before you fall into prostration to the one